Welcome everyone. Today's session is by Dr. Sayali Amrapurkar. She is the Executive Director of AshaUSA, and she is going to talk about Advaita philosophy in Kabir Bhajans. I know Sayali probably last 6-8 months. She's part of our volunteers that organize the 11 a.m. session on Sunday mornings, self-care and meditation sessions for Brihan Maharashtra Mandal. BMM is an organization of all the Marathi speaking people in USA and Canada. And Sayali is a key member, key volunteer in that group. So Sayali has a Ph.D. in Family Social Sciences, and she is currently an executive director. She is a founding member and also an executive director for AshaUSA. It's a non-profit organization with mission to promote health and harmony. And one of the key initiatives that she is working on is the Mental Health Matters initiative, which focuses on programs to increase the awareness about the mental health issues among South Asian families, especially in Minnesota. So welcome, Sayali. And again, please, tell if I missed something, just go ahead and tell about yourself.
All right. So thank you so much, Shrikant Sabnis Kaka, for inviting me to do this session for Shri Yoga. Again, as Sabnis Kaka said, I have been involved with the meditation and self-care group for the last 6 months to 1 year. And I'm also learning a lot, in fact. So every month we have a theme. And this month of April, we had the theme of faith-based meditation. And so I chose this topic of Advaita philosophy that is reflected in Kabir Bhajans or Kabir's writings. So I'm not an expert on this topic, first disclaimer. So I read about it, I learned, I did research, and I came up with this presentation. So just think of it as a student presentation rather than as an expert presentation. Many of you have heard or are familiar with Kabir's writings. So if you think of anything, please, we will have question and answer sessions at the end so we all can learn from you. So with that, I will share my presentation.
Just one thing I want to mention, that please keep your audios off. And again, if you have any questions, please enter them, questions, comments enter them in the chat box. And after the session, Sayali will answer those questions. And also we'll have a short meditation at the end. Thank you, Sayali. Go ahead.
Yeah. So depending on how much time we have left, we can also do a short meditation. So Kaka has already introduced me, so I will start. So the title of this session, I thought, should be something from Kabir's words. And so I chose Name Bandha, Name Mukta. So I don't know how many of you have heard. There's this beautiful Kabir Bhajan that is sung by Lata Mangeshkar and Roop Kumar. And that whole bhajan, in the end, we are going to listen to the bhajan, see the words, and see how beautifully it talks about the Advaita philosophy. But that is the title of our session today. So we all know that Kabir is known as one of India's leading saints, whose writings have influenced our bhakti movement. And the poetry, the devotional and mystical poetry of Kabir is actually a reflection of his life. And he believed in the oneness of God as opposed to the idea of worshiping the idols. So he always talks about how we need to constantly purify the soul to be close to God, rather than to indulge in various rituals that different religions talk about. So he talks about, in general, overall, he talks about the importance of exploring the extraordinary strength, that is the inner strength of our minds, and to do that throughout the lifetime in order to actually get enlightenment, which he believes that even common man can achieve that. You don't have to be a saint or a spiritual leader. And actually the final message, if you look at all his work, what he gives is that the spiritual transformation of self is possible by developing human values, which will lead to a revolutionary change in the society, and it will benefit the entire humanity. So this is just the gist of what we are going to see today in the presentation. And one thing I want to point out that when we look through this whole idea of what he says in his dohas and in his bhajans, we realize that actually he is one of those people who gave a revolutionary idea at that time, right? So Kabir lived in the 15th century, and though he is considered a saint today, at the time when he was living and he was doing his work, people around him thought he was a revolutionary thinker. He was, talking about these ideas about, loving everybody, and the whole humanity is one. And we all know the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, right? That the whole world is one family. And that's what he was talking about. And when he was alive, in 15th century in India, at that time, it was a period of turmoil. It was a period of economic upheaval, political upheaval, religious upheaval, social and cultural turbulence and problems. And though we have traveled so far in time, still, as we all know, today's society also grapples with a number of these evils, right? Just like at that time, today also we have injustice, violence, corruption, stereotypes, so many problems that the humanity faces. And though science and technology have progressed and brought comfort to everybody, at the same time, our human life has become very complicated. And so in this time of rapid change, there is all this, upheaval. There's all this transformation going on in the way people lead lives, and also, in the way politics, society, our religion, and overall the structure of the society functions. So this is the time, actually, not only during Kabir's time, but even today, this philosophy is very relevant as we are trying to understand what it really means, the word Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and how it applies today too to our lives. So that's what we are going to look at, basically. And Kabir's thoughts, which he expressed at that time, were actually not just coming from one particular religion. It was actually an integration of different philosophies, different religious beliefs and ideas. So he believed, for example, in the thoughts of Upanishads, but he also talked about the melody of Sufism. He talks about the meditative aspects of yogis, and he also refers to the Vaishnava philosophical values. He has integrated the non-violence of Buddhism and Jainism. Excuse me, I'm going to drink some water. And he also refers to the Islamic equality and brotherhood. So basically, he tried to integrate values from different religions and try to come up with his own thoughts and philosophy. So on one hand, he attacked the caste system of the Hindus, but on the other hand, he was also annoyed with the violence such as goat sacrifice among Muslims. So he discouraged the rituals, like in Hindus, we have puja, part, upvas, tirtha snan, and so on. And he, on the other hand, he also, sarcastically commented about roja, namaz, and hajj, and so on and so forth. So in essence, he was against all rituals. So one scholar of Kabir's work, Dr. Bachan Singh, has beautifully said that Kabir wanted to bring about revolutionary change in the society through dharma. And by dharma, we all know he doesn't mean any one particular religion. So he was not in the view of creating any new pantha. He wanted to establish such a society in which no one is Hindu or Muslim. There is no puja or namaz, no pandit or mullah, just human beings. I think this is very powerful description of what Kabir talked about in all his work. And as a result, his writings over generations have appealed to people from different faiths. And if you have read about Kabir, you might know that he was an illiterate. He was doing his poetry in simple oral colloquial Hindi with dialects such as Awadhi, Braj, and Bhojpuri, which were spoken in the area that he was living. And so his words were very straightforward that could be understood by common man. And his two-line couplets are called Kabir Ke Dohe. And we're going to look at a few of them as they apply our understanding of his philosophy. So this is one of the famous ones, which points out to that thing that we just described. So, कस्तूरी कुंडली बसई मृग ढूंढे बन माही ऐसे घटी घटी राम है दुनिया देखे नाही. So basically, like a deer who tries to find I have written this here in Hindi as well. So मनुष्य ईश्वर को पाने के लिए इधर उधर भटकता है, जबकि ईश्वर उसी के अंदर या उसी के पास है. जैसे कस्तूरी मृग की नाभि में ही है, मगर मृग नहीं जानता और भ्रमित होकर सारे वन में ढूंढता फिरता है. So कस्तूरी जो the कस्तूरी that is in the deer itself, the deer is not aware that it is in me, and he's going around trying to find kasturi. So that's a very beautiful couplet which talks about how you need to find God inside you. So as I said before, God can be attained by anybody, even by a common man. And so he would ask all his followers to leave aside all the scriptures, whether it's Quran or Vedas, and simply follow this simple path that he called Sahaj path, Sahaj path, to find their way to God. And so, again, many of you must have heard or are familiar with the Bhakti movement in Hinduism and the Sufi movement in Islam. And there are two very different streams of thought, but there are similarities in them. And they both emphasize the importance of personal devotion to God. So again, coming back to that same idea that the best way to connect with God is to look inside you. And since this group also does meditation, I think you will understand that connection as well. That's what we try to do, right? In meditation, you're trying to go in. Now, as I was doing this research and reading up more, I came across this very interesting study, analysis of Kabir's work done by two women. And if you see the names, you'll realize one is a Muslim scholar and another is a Hindu scholar. So Dr. Saima Banu and Dr. Gitanjali Upadhyaya. And in an attempt to know Kabir's philosophy from a human psychological perspective, they studied it, and they said, okay, we can see that his work can be put in a systematic way, where we can see that Kabir is talking about 4 stages of bhakti or sadhana. And we are going to look at each of these. So these 4 stages are self-conceptualization, self-analysis, self-exploration, and self-realization. So we are going to look at each of these and see some of Kabir's dohe that go with each of these. So the first stage, Kabir says, it's a basic stage, which most of us are trying to do right now, is we're questioning, right? We're trying to understand what is the purpose of existence? What is the purpose of life? And he tries to point out, again, like that Kasturi example, that there is, we always think there's this distance between Atma and Paramatma. But what we are trying to uncover is just how there is no distance. We are all one. Okay, so like for example, his words, Jab main tha, tab hari nahi, ab hari hai, main nahi. So कबीर दास जी कहते हैं कि जब मेरे अंदर अहंकार है, अहंकार मैं था, तब मेरे हृदय में हरि ईश्वर का वास नहीं था, और जब मेरे मन में हरि ईश्वर का वास है तो मेरा अहंकार नहीं है. So it's either you, your ego, or the Lord who is already in you. So again, it's very deep, but it's very easy to understand, and that's where we start. That's the self-conceptualization, thinking, okay, God is within me. These other words are also very beautiful. I like them. He says that Lali mere lal ki chit dekhu tit lal, lali dekhan main gayi, main bhi ho gayi lal. So it's self-explanatory, and you know, you just read these words and you really get the meaning. So that's the first stage, where we all are at a stage where we are trying to understand, find God outside, find meaning outside, and think that we can get it in various temples or various places of worship or through different rituals. The second stage of sadhana that he talks about is the self-analysis or Atma Vishleshan. And this is the stage where you know, the sadhak is really struggling because he went everywhere and he just doesn't know how to, you know, how to really understand this nature of existence. And this is the stage where he's fighting both positivity and negativity that exists within him. So this stage is different from earlier stage because in this stage, the person really starts to understand what are the negativities and what are the positivities. By that, I mean negative qualities and positive qualities within. And that's why it's called self-analysis. And a person, when he reaches this stage, he or she is able to analyze both of them. And as a result, we understand what is it that I need to increase, the positive qualities, and what is it that I need to decrease, that is the negative qualities. And to say that in a very beautiful way, Kabir says that Nindak niere rakhiye angan kuti chhawaye, bin pani sabun bina nirmal kare suhaye. So what it means is, keep your critics close to you. है ना. निंदक जो हमेशा दूसरों की बुराई करने वाले लोग होते हैं, जो आपकी बुराई करते हैं, उनको हमेशा पास रखना चाहिए, क्योंकि ऐसे लोग अगर आपके पास रहेंगे तो आपकी बुराइयां आपको बताते रहेंगे और आप आसानी से अपनी गलतियां सुधार सकते हैं. So that is the attitude we will need to have. Generally, if somebody points out something, it's very hard to take a negative comment about your own quality. But if we keep that attitude, then he's saying how we can use it towards our self-growth. So he goes on further to say, so when we say positive qualities, what are some of those positive qualities? So he talks about qualities like truth, love, meditation, remembering God, non-violence, wisdom, mercy, compassion, and so on. And like in this another couplet, he's talking about ऐसी वाणी बोलिए मन का आपक होए, औरन को शीतल करे, आपहु शीतल होए. So true and melodious words make the soul fresh and at the same time give happiness to others. So इंसान को ऐसी भाषा बोलनी चाहिए जो सुनने वाले के मन को बहुत अच्छी लगे. ऐसी भाषा दूसरों को तो सुख पहुंचाती ही है, लेकिन इसके साथ खुद को भी बड़ा आनंद का अनुभव होता है. So again, very beautiful words to really show that how it's not only good for others to hear you speak positive and good words, but also it provides so much comfort to your own self. And we all experience this, right? So that is the second stage. And again, there are several dohas and writings in each stage that we can find. And if you go on the internet, you will find a lot of these beautifully written Kabir dohas and bhajans. So here is another one, which is a very popular Kabir couplet, which you must have either heard or even listen to the songs and bhajans which are around. So pothi pad pad jag mua pandit bhaya na koe, dhai aakhar prem ka padhe so pandit hoye. So what he's saying basically is one who understands the power of love has achieved wisdom, and wisdom is not measured by the number of books one reads. So कबीर दास जी कहते हैं कि लोग बड़ी से बड़ी पढ़ाई करते हैं, लेकिन कोई पढ़कर पंडित या विद्वान नहीं बन पाता. जो इंसान प्रेम का 2.5 अक्षर पढ़ लेता है वही सबसे बड़ा विद्वान है. So the simple message he's giving is that spread love, love each other, and not hate. So again, each of these words makes one think. The third stage is that of self-exploration, and that would be called Atma Anveshan. And now this is going further, right? So in self-exploration, he talks about how he talks about how individual keeps on moving forward and experiences all these worldly affairs, right? We are diverted. So in the first 2 stages, we realize, the God is not outside, we need to go deeper. And then how to do that? We analyze what are the positive and negative qualities and try to work on those. But while we are doing this and exploring our own self, there are all these diversions, all the worldly affairs, that are trying to deter us from our strong determination. And for that, he says, we need somebody who can guide us, a mentor, a guru. And he talks about Sadguru ki mahima anant, anant kiya upakar, lochan ananta ughadiya, anant dikhawa har. Means a true mentor or a guru or somebody, a guide, opens up the mystic eyes of the mind of the sadhak, of us, of devotees, and help them to see the glimpses of Brahma or the Lord. So this is again the importance of, that connection. So we cannot do this in isolation. We cannot just say, I'm just going to sit on my own and go deeper and work on myself, and that's it. No, you need somebody who will help you, guide you. And so Sant Kabir talked about his gurus, his Hindu guru, his gurus from other faiths, Muslim gurus, who from whom he learned. And again, remember, this was not like he learned reading something or scriptures, but it was all through narration or how he was influenced by them. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with this, but when Sant Kabir died, there was faction between Hindus and Muslims, because Hindus said he should be cremated like Hindus, and Muslims said, no, he should be, buried like how we do it in the Muslim tradition. And so there was this big fight. So again, coming back to that, so he was teaching, we are all one. We shouldn't fight about, what we should do in each religion. And as soon as he passed away, people were fighting about that. So that's just human tendency that, instead of focusing on the teaching, we are focusing on this person. But anyway, that was just a side story that I read. I thought that was very in keeping with what we are talking about here. And the fourth stage, Atma Sakshatkar, or self-realization. Now, this is the final stage, and we all have heard the word moksha, right? And so this is the stage when we think about like soul gets unified with the Supreme Soul in such a manner as a drop in the ocean or ocean with the drop, right? So again, I found this couplet that I hadn't used in my last presentation, but I found it later. So, जल में कुंभ कुंभ में जल है, बाहर भीतर पानी, फूटा कुंभ जल जल ही समाना, यह तथा कहई गयानी. So sorry, this language is, as you know, not Hindi as we know it. It's from Kabir's time, and I'm not familiar with it. So if I'm saying it wrong, and if you know how to say it correctly, you can correct me. But what it says basically is, जब पानी भरने जाए तो घड़ा जल में रहता है, और भरने पर जल घड़े के अंदर आ जाता है. इस तरह देखो तो बाहर और भीतर दोनों तरफ पानी है, पानी ही पानी है, पानी की सत्ता है. लेकिन जब घड़ा फूट जाए तो उसका जल में ही जल मिल जाता है, कोई भी अलगाव नहीं रहता. हम बता नहीं पाते कि कौन सा जल घड़े के अंदर था और कौन सा बाहर था. तो ज्ञानी इस तथ्य को जानता है कि आत्मा और परमात्मा दो नहीं है, एक ही है. So this is what this couplet is trying to say. तो अंततः परमात्मा की ही सत्ता है, जब देह विलीन होती है यह परमात्मा का ही अंश हो जाता है. So this is so beautiful, and so basically this is what it is talking about when it talks about moksha. And even after this stage, again, very few people reach this stage. As you can imagine, it takes so much work to reach this stage. But even after self-realization, a person who reaches this stage will continue to do his worldly duties, but he will not be influenced by the worldly affairs of pain and sorrow and troubles, because he has reached that stage, and he becomes so pure, sacred, and wise that he's able to handle them. So that's what Kabir means by enlightenment. And that's why he said that any person can reach if they try. And the dual sense of soul and supreme soul gets unified. And that's the beautiful metaphor of that ghada and jal. So in the final stage, once a person reaches that stage, it is not possible for that person to think of themselves and supreme soul as different. They have reached that stage where they think it's one and the same. And so individual is more close to all those positive qualities: contentment, bliss, what we all think we are looking for. And at that stage, the person can only think of how he can apply or he can extend that to everybody around it, right? Remember, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So welfare of the humanity as a whole. And this really, before I go to this really slide, this concludes actually what we are talking about Kabir's philosophy. That first we said that his philosophy is based on concept of attaining enlightenment during one's life, this life. Okay, not something after life or not after you read all the scriptures. We can live our everyday lives as common man, and we can still try to work on this path. And the 4 stages that he talks about are self-conceptualization, self-analysis, self-exploration, and self-realization. These are the 4 stages, he says, are crucial for an individual in realizing that enlightenment. And in order to do that, what does he say first? We need to think, okay, what is the meaning of my existence, right? Or if you're thinking, what is God? How can I reach God? That can be the first stage. The second stage is to enhance the positive qualities and try to reduce the negative qualities, right? And that is the only way in order to reach that third and fourth stage of utmost morality and human values and connect with others. So that's very simply put what he's trying to say. But we all know that today, religion, politics, in general, we see the society misinterprets and uses religion or all these philosophies to create divisions rather than unity, right? There's violence, there's terrorism, and so on and so forth. So by following something like Kabir's philosophy, we can definitely try to imbibe that hope and that positivity so that we can see how we can improve ourselves individually and then the humanity as a whole. So that's where I'm going to stop, and we are going to go ahead and listen to that bhajan I was referring to. I don't know how many of you have heard or read about this before, but this is okay. This just again another disclaimer. This is my most favorite Kabir bhajan, and it came out quite some time ago when I heard it for the first time. And at that time, like in 1990 something, when I heard it, I was young. I didn't understand the meaning of it so much. Okay, these are good words, good music. Lata Mangeshkar ji singing it, so very beautiful to hear. But it's only recently when I started listening to it again, I really understand that Advaita philosophy that we're talking about, that me and the Lord is the same, Atma and Paramatma are same, the same essence. That's what this is bringing about. And the words are beautiful, the meaning is beautiful. So I'm going to play the bhajan and we all will listen, and then we'll go from there.
ना मैं देवल ना मैं मस्जिद ना काबे कैलाश में मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे मोको कहाँ मोको कहाँ मोको कहाँ 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 मैं तो तेरे पास में, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास में। ना मैं देवल, ना मैं मस्जिद, ना मैं देवल, ना मैं मस्जिद, ना काबे कैलाश में, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे बंदे बंदे बंदे, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे, कहाँ ढूंढे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास में, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे बंदे।
ना हम नरक लोक को जाते, ना हम नरक लोक को जाते, ना हम स्वर्ग सिधारे हो, सब ही कर्म हमारा किया, सब ही कर्म हमारा किया, हम कर्मन से न्यारे हो, ना मैं धर्मी ना ही अधर्मी, ना मैं धर्मी ना ही अधर्मी, ना
खोजी होई तो तोरे तो मिली हो पल भर की तलाश में, खोजी होई तो तोरे तो मिली हो पल भर की तलाश में। कह कबीर सुन भाई साधो, कह कबीर सुन भाई साधो, सब सांसों की सांस में, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे बंदे, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास में, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास में, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास में, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास में, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास में, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास में, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास में, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे बंदे, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे बंदे, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे बंदे।
हे ऐकल्यावर दुसरं काही बोलू किंवा करू नये असंच वाटतं. म्हणजे the whole song, just listening to it is like a meditation. And so that's why I'm not going to say anything. The words are here, the meaning is here in case anybody wants to go through it. But all those 4 stages that we talked about are beautifully reflected. And as you know, the last words says, Sab saaso hi saas mein. So basically everything comes down to you, your breath, right? When your breath is there, you're connected to Paramatma. When it is not there, that's it. So, and in yoga and meditation, that's what we learn, right? Breath is everything. So again, as I said that I will stop here, and then I have references from where I got the information, what I read. So if anybody's interested, I would be happy to share that. Yeah, so Sabnis Kaka, now I'm done.
So you can stop the screen share, yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you very much, Sayali. And this was repeat for me, and it's just I'm glad that the Sri Yoga people are able to can listen to you and enjoy this presentation again. So thank you very much. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask questions, or and after all the questions are answered, then we'll have a short meditation by led by Sayali.
Yeah, if we have time. One thing I want to say is that if you have any couplets or any Kabir Dohas that you know or you are familiar with, and also those of you who are familiar with the Nirguni Bhakti movement, like Bhakti songs and bhajans, there are so many, and Kumar Gandharva popularized them. They have always been there, Nirguni bhajans, but Kumar Gandharva started singing them and they became popular, and many people have sung after that. Even today, there are so many beautiful Nirguni bhajans, which also follow this tradition of Kabir Bhajans. So, yeah. So if you have any questions, comments, anything, yeah.
If I can make a comment, the first one, I was looking for something like this on Kabir Dohe because I never understood them. But today, all of yours, they were simple. I understood them. Thank you very much. So the first one is basically very impressive. I don't know why it's called self-conceptualization, but in my own Hindi, not exact those words, is basically जब मैं था हरि नहीं थे, जब अब हरि है तो मैं नहीं हूँ. So it appeals both to Dvaita and Advaita, because you use in my understanding, you use the name Hari as a god, then it is a Dvaita. Like when once he realizes God, so basically when he was there, you see, when his persona, when his personality, when what you are calling ego was there, then God was not there. But when he surrendered, then he is with God. Only Hari is there. And when Hari is there, when he is self-real, then he is not there. Likewise, I don't know if you understand it, but those who understood there, they will understand it. The other way is like Hari also means the higher self, what they call consciousness or the Paramatma, right? In my understanding. So for a self-realized person, before he becomes self-realized, that person is there. I am there. My persona is there. My personality is there. But once I reach that enlightenment, I am not there anymore. So Hari also can mean the Paramatma, the consciousness, or the higher self. So
yeah, I think that's what it means. Yeah, that's what it means. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but when we use the word Hari, basically, you're not calling it Paramatma, soul, or anything. Then it is like God, Dvaita.
Right. Because as we said, he said, don't follow any, like he didn't follow any religion, or he didn't believe that you should go to pilgrimage or go do these things. So in that, he's talking about the ultimate truth and not any particular God when we're talking about Hari. Yeah. But thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And sorry.
This is Sheila Rajan, and the same philosophy has been told by Purandaradasa also. So it is in Kannada. So the devotee asked, do I go? Nanu hogutina. So Purandaradasa says, Nanu hodre hode. So he says, you go to God if that I is gone. So when you say Nanu, if the Nanu is gone from you, then you achieve the attainment. So it is in the same kind of a language, in simple language, Purandardasa says too.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So the Kumar Gandharva Sunta Hai Guru Gyani, that I like very much. Okay. And also there is, not by Kumar Gandharva, but Moko Kaha Dhunde Re Bandhe, Maito Tere, and it ends with Maito Tere Swasame. So.
And I think the point he, I forgot the name. He was talking about Hari. If I'm not mistaken, Hari means the one who जो हरतो म्हणजे हरण करतो, the one who like liberates us from the bondage of life and death cycle, that is Hari, someone who does that. I'm asking this question, I'm not sure.
Actually, if I can answer that, in interpretation wise, people say that whosoever takes away your ego or whatever it is, that is, but at the same time, like Vishnu, we call Hari also, right? So you can interpret both ways. So actually,
Right.
like recently I came to know, even not slightly related to this, is the way we interpret, like Bhagavad Gita. I used to get confused many years ago. Like Krishna says that do not pray like small deities. They're like you will not get anything. Pray me. So then I used to think like Krishna is so great. Like why should he ask people to pray him? Then basically later on I realized so that the Bhagavad Gita for the Dvaitic people who see a form in God, then for them he appeals as Krishna. Like Swami Prabhupada, he used to say Krishna. That's the way he got connected. For the Advaitic and for the Advaitic, because in chapter 2, I think he mentions that he is a formless. So basically, those who accept the Advaita, then we know that when he is saying me, that is the formless.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, so it is like how we interpret. Bottom line is you have to finally accept that this is the philosophy I'm going. This is the Hari I'm going to accept. But what you said is correct. Like Hari is also in. I heard the explanations where they say those who maybe sometimes the God's names are given in such a way that they have a philosophical connotation. Philosophical. I mean. They do refer to the Atma, Paramatma. If you look at the various names used in the Ramayana, Mahabharata, they denote something other than the name itself.
Right. No, that's true. But I think Sayali made a very good point about, like, of course she has researched that, but Kabir has emphasized a lot on the Nirgun Tattva as such. If we focus it
That's what I was saying. Basically, like for those who do not accept the Advaita, then they can accept him as a Hari. But those like herself and myself who are in Advaita, we accept it as.
Right. And, just thinking about it, as he said, that in order to appeal this information to common man, if common man has to understand, he has to start by saying, okay, if you believe in, say, concept of Ram, Rahim, whatever it is, let's start with that. And then you go on. So that's why he's trying to connect with that common man rather than saying you only have to understand what's higher scripture. So
the very foundation of the idol worship, not to offend anybody, is basically our perceptions are limited to a form only.
Yeah.
So we start with the idol worship, and you can continue if you cannot accept the formless. But that is the way it starts. There is somebody far more superior to you who is responsible for this universe. And then you read the Bhagavad Gita about formlessness and the scriptures. Then you understand, you reach a time when, how is that I'm not seeing any physical form of the God. And then you do accept that Advaita. So,
right. And Santa Jnaneshwar, who have read and understand Santa Jnaneshwar, he also similarly, right? In his words, he was trying to simplify the scriptures and give the same message. Using everyday examples, just like Kabir.
We cannot understand like if you are not evolved to the Advaitic stage, one man cannot understand. So you have to use things like Hari, Vishnu, whatever it is. And then those who understand.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other? Yeah.
If we put
Sayali,
ourselves
I will
into
send
the
you.
position, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Geeta.
I'm just trying to imagine if we put ourselves into the position of Kabir. Of course, we are not apli patrata nahi hai todi, but still, if you have to preach something to the common man about certain things about God and everything. So I think that's why the Jnaneshwar, Kabir, and all those people, like all the saints who blessed Maharashtra or the India as such. So it's like telling the person who is sitting in the mandir and worshipping God and suddenly come and say that, okay, this is just an idol. You can worship the formless God. It's actually not feasible for them maybe at that
Right.
particular point of time. So they might have to go through that route. Ki, okay, idol worship, you do the idol worship, but still the true God is within you and me and everyone else.
Right,
So
right. And
that's
interestingly, as I was reading up this so much, so somebody asked in the chat, who was his Hindu guru? How did he know Sanskrit, and so on and so forth. So if you Google or if you go on internet, you'll find all that biographical information. But the basic idea is what I read, and again, I might not have the full information, but Kabir was in that Varanasi area, and he grew up in a Muslim house, and he was influenced by his Hindu guru. So he was influenced by some members of the community who were Hindus, and that's why he developed that that understanding that, hey, in my Hindu house also they're talking about this, and in my Muslim house also they're talking about this, and Hindus also talking. So there's some similarity, and it looks like that's how he started thinking about these things. And again, because this was so long time ago, and we cannot fully just focus on what internet says, so definitely people who have done more study of this will be able to give us a better idea. But just for purpose of our understanding, this really makes, so basically just if we understand each other as human beings rather than based on different factions of religion and caste or language, or nowadays there are so many other factions. So that's the very simple underlying belief. Sufi, somebody asked about Sufi songs. So if you like this kind of music, Nirgudi bhajans and music, Sufi songs are another very beautiful source of very good poetry words. And you'll find them again everywhere. Our Bollywood movies have quite a few. They have used quite a few of Sufi songs. Because Sufi songs are basically love songs towards God, right? And so they tend to find them very useful to include as love songs in movies. But those Sufi songs are all talking about a person's love for the God, and it's very beautiful. Any other comments or questions?
So one thing I wanted to mention, I will send you a reference about the way Kabir died, because the Hindus and Muslims were fighting, and the story says that the way to die where not even ashes were left when he died. Okay? And so there was no, they couldn't do anything, that Hindu or Muslims, couldn't fight about it.
Wow.
Again, it may be story, but
we don't know for sure. But just this idea that this man who preached about, let's not think of Hindus and Muslims as different. We are all one, and he has to, people really. So that's why many people don't reach those further stages. They are right there, even below the first stage, but they're not even thinking of why we are here. What is the meaning of existence? So that's why this is, I think, something we just need to work on ourselves. That's it. So I think it would be a good idea to do a small loving kindness meditation, if everybody is okay with that. Again, so we still have 5-10 minutes. Sabnis Kaka?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So since Kabir talked about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, let's do a meditation focused on receiving and sending love and kindness. Close your eyes. And if you want to just gently close your eyes, that's fine. Sit comfortably with your feet flat on the floor and your spine straight. Relax your whole body. Keep your eyes closed throughout the whole visualization and bring your awareness inwards. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Take another deep breath in and breathe out. Keeping your eyes closed, think of a person close to you who loves you very much. It could be someone from the past or the present, someone still living or who has passed. It could be a spiritual teacher or guru. Imagine that person standing in front of you. That person is sending you their love. That person is sending you wishes for your safety, for your well-being, and happiness. Feel the warm wishes and love coming from that person towards you. That person is saying, may you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful. May you be happy and live with ease. Now imagine that you are surrounded on all sides by all the people who love you and have loved you. They are standing, sending you wishes for your happiness, health, and well-being. You are filled and overflowing with warmth and love. Now picture a person that you love, perhaps a friend or a relative, and begin to send the love that you feel back to that person. Now you send all your love and warm wishes back to that person. Say to that person, just as I wish, may you live with ease, may you be happy, may you be safe and healthy. Repeat it again. May you live with ease, may you be happy, may you be safe and healthy. Now think of someone you don't know very well, like just an acquaintance. It could be a neighbor, a colleague, or someone else that you see around but do not know very well. You and this person are alike in your wish to have a good life. Just like you, this person wishes to experience joy and happiness in his or her life. Send all your wishes for well-being to that person, repeating silently, just as I wish to, may you live with ease, may you be happy, may you be safe and healthy. Repeat again, just as I wish to, may you live with ease, may you be happy, may you be safe and healthy. Now, think of someone that you may not get along. It may be someone that you have a long-standing difficulty with. It may be somebody in your family, a friend, somebody you work with. Call the difficult person to mind and be honest about what you feel. There may be feelings of discomfort, you may notice that you have a tendency to think badly of that person. Or to deepen the conflict you may have with them. This is the time to let go of these tendencies. Now, wish them well. Repeat the following phrase silently. Just as I wish, may you live with ease, may you be happy, may you be safe and healthy. Just as I wish, may you live with ease, may you be happy, may you be safe and healthy. Now we are going to focus on sending our love and kindness to all living beings. Now expand your awareness and picture the whole globe in front of you as a little ball. Send warm, loving wishes to all living beings on the globe who, like you, want to be happy. Repeat, just as I wish to, may you live with ease, may you be happy, may you be safe and healthy. Just as I wish, may you live with ease, may you be happy, may you be safe and healthy. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Take another deep breath in and let it go. When you are ready, you may open your eyes.
Thank you, Sayali.
Thank you, everyone.